Welcome in, everybody. I'm Joey. So this week on Forza, we've got the Golf GTI Hopper in D-Class. We're basically going to be driving these bullets around a bunch of different tracks. And we're also going to have the opportunity to watch me on camera miss shifts and take wrong racing lines. I figured the racing in D-Class can be a little slow, so let's spice it up a little bit, give you another look into just how mediocre my driving is by showing you some GoPro footage of the wheel. Now, obviously, I'm not going to be winning any Emmys for my lighting. Someone thought it'd be a great idea to use red light to match the color of the vehicle. Whoever that was is an idiot and shouldn't be allowed to ever do lighting ever again. So I'll pass the word on to whoever thought that was a good idea. And if you guys like the wheel cam, then maybe I'll do it a little bit more and I'll start doing the lighting myself because, you know, it definitely wasn't me who thought it'd be cool to use a red light. Couldn't be me. But trail breaking into Brooklands right now, I am reminded just how fun it is to drive in cockpit view in Forza. No clue where anybody is. I'm getting bullied 3 wide through there. And coming out onto the straight, another guy's going to poke up my right side. I think there's still somebody on my left. I'm getting bullied around again, getting sandwiched. I'm the cream filling in the Oreo right now. That is not the metaphor you wanted to hear, I'm sure. Just getting fucking Oreo'd out here. And my spatial awareness is basically on par with my grandmother trying to parallel park, still running into everybody, even down the straight. Up front, we've got a guy spinning, and yet we both shit our pants because we've run into each other, and we've probably both died, or at least we would have had it been in real life. Now I've lost some valuable speed, and keeping that momentum up is extremely important, especially in these slower cars, because once you start slowing down, it is very hard to gain that speed back, or at least it takes a very long time. We've got some guy off track just hotboxing the hell out of his car. Never a good idea in the middle of a race. He'll probably end up finishing in last, but at least we'll know he definitely had the best time out there considering how much smoke was coming out of that car. Right now we're in a drag race back into Brooklands. I think there's a guy on my right side. If we saw him earlier at the beginning of the straight, can't quite tell for sure. Gonna leave a little bit of space over there on the right side if he is there. I don't think he is. If that's him in the rear view mirror, we are ahead. And now we can sit in the draft of number 4 up ahead, who's got a beautiful pink Volkswagen. So he might not be on the podium yet, but he is making a hell of a fashion statement, girlfriend. You go, girl. And into Brooklands yet again, trail breaking, carrying lots of speed through there. If you really throw this Volkswagen into some of these corners, you'll get some oversteer, and then you can bring it back with a bit of throttle to those front tires. And it is a lot of fun to drive. You're not getting up to high speeds, like I said earlier, but through the corners, you can really throw this thing in and bring it back around. It's a lot of fun to drive. And onto the back straight, finishing lap 5, I'm finally going to have my opportunity to go for the move on Barbie over here. We'll enter the corner side by side, but I do have the inside, and coming out I'll have the position. 4th place is mine. He's got a second worth of penalties as well, so pretty solidified into 4th place, and in the end couldn't quite catch up to the guys in 3rd, 2nd, and 1st, so we'll finish there in 4th, a drop in 1 position. But for my first race back on wheel in what is probably a few months actually, that felt pretty good. Finishing towards the front of the pack, that definitely gave me the confidence I needed to go into this race at Hockenheim. This one just turns into a bad game of wreckfest though. So around turn 1, 1st place gets a great run out of the corner and almost goes up to a second ahead. We're going to go 3 wide into the turn 2. And we can't quite see the guy on our right. There he is back on the screen, and his junkyard put together VW almost gets spun out. At least, you know, something looks worse than my lighting. It's that car right there. So that at least makes it look bearable. Into the left bend. I'm trying to get up the left side of the junkyard VW, but didn't leave a whole lot of space. And I'm left spinning off to the left as we donate a position to just about everybody on the grid except for El Executor 22 behind then whoever was just off into the wall there. getting their daily dose of concrete barrier. I'm going to cut the track there, and we'll have to wait for the Forza gods to provide judgment, which comes in the shape and form of an 8/10 penalty. I run into the back of that guy who broke nice and early. Now I'm pinned narrow up on the curb, lost the car for a second, tried to adjust the steering, and well, I just ended up shoving that guy wide. So we're driving angry now. But it can be difficult at the back of the pack sometimes to judge where people are going to brake, where they're going to accelerate. Everyone's on a different skill level. You got geniuses like me who decide to switch to wheel instead of play on controller like they usually do. So you just kind of got to watch out for things and maybe give folks a little more leeway than you usually would when you're at the back or in the middle of the pack. We'll trade some paint around turn 1, but I've managed to hold the position. I probably could have given them a bit more space there as well. Around turn 2, we're catching up to the pack once again. And when we did this the first time around, it didn't go so well for us. So this time, I'm going to go to the outside of the left-hand bend coming up, and hopefully this will work out a little better for us. And, well, this guy's going to take one of the better racing lines I've seen all day. He is in front of me, though, so there's not a whole lot I can say. I can just assume that he might be severely intoxicated behind the wheel and what that says about my own driving. But we'll have the opportunity to go for another pass into the hairpin, but instead I ended up taking a spin class, so that's awesome. But no, I actually started moving left, and then I probably clipped the front end of his car and started spinning around. Luckily, someone came from behind and actually gave me a nice push on the front bumper, get me all straightened out again. So shout out to that guy. And we kept it moving and actually gained a couple positions not too far later on the straightaway and into turn 1. So it wasn't a total loss, and I've got a full lap now to try to salvage what I can from this race. And luckily we've got a big group of guys. Well, we've got a group of 4 up ahead that I can try to overtake and, yeah, really get something out of this race that isn't me spinning again. At least I've got my fingers crossed. Okay, so through the infield cut section, I guess I'll call it. Usually Hockenheim extends a little farther and you got the parabolica, but this is the short variation. So we'll do the cut. I think that's probably for the best. It might take these cars half a year to get all the way down to the hairpin and back, so I'm fine with the short variation. And here I'm doing some lawn mowing, and there's an example of just some epic professional level steering. Just move the steering wheel left and right, hope and pray that you get back onto the track. That's my strategy, and if you guys want a tutorial, I'll be happy to put it on the channel at some point. But yeah, the quick tutorial is just move the steering wheel left and right, hope and pray, and you'll get there eventually. That's what these guys are doing up here, because we have just turned into an absolute disaster here. This guy's not even letting me back onto the track. We'll cross the line, and I would have ended up beating him, but I ended up crossing the line off the track and got a penalty for it. So we ended up having equal penalty times. We both had 2.4 seconds, which ultimately put me behind him. So sick. We'll move on from that spectacle and clean racing to a race at Grand Oak where special guest Wuhan Biolab is behind us. So apparently, if you finish behind them, you get COVID. So we'll try not to do that. Try to win this one. I'm starting on pole, which I haven't done yet, so maybe I'm starting to get a little quicker on the wheel. That would be good to see. A little bit of progress is always good to see, especially after I took about 5,000 steps backwards last race. And we're starting off here on the right foot, that gap slowly creeping up towards the 1 second mark. Keeping it in third gear through these corners. I felt like I was losing more speed, having to shift down into second and then back up into third, and I was getting a lot of understeer there. But keeping the foot planted because I am speed, I guess, around the carousel. Will be hovering around that 1 second time gap, but then coming out, we'll eclipse it, get up to 1.1, and then eventually 1.2, be pretty firmly out of that slipstream, which is great because on the straight is where they're really going to need it. And now that I've broken that draft, they're hopefully just going to be fighting amongst themselves, and I can focus on building that gap for the next 6 laps, which is what I did, and I'm actually going to take the win. So the first win on the wheel in Forza Motorsport. You'll see my just sick celebration right there. I'm either celebrating or threatening to fight my wheel. I really don't know. It looked a little weird, I gotta say, but Rageface actually made up 12 spots starting from the back. So if he started at the front, I don't think it would have been quite as comfortable. But we got the win, and that's all that matters. We'll move on to the Nürburgring, where we're getting the full circuit later this month, baby. They really fast-tracked it. They really fast-tracked it, huh? They said spring, and we're getting it in February, which, I mean, I guess is only as we get spun out. And I'm now looking inside this guy's car, currently getting decapitated. But they said spring, and I guess February is only like a month away from spring, because March is spring, right? Or maybe that's April. I don't know. But they fast-tracked it either way, and we're getting it. I can't imagine why, though, because it's not like this game was a total disaster at launch or anything. I kid. I'm just glad we're getting it, and I'm sure they'll be doing some multiplayer hoppers around it as well, so that is something to definitely look forward to. And fortunately, I'm no longer in last place. We just passed a guy, which gives me all the confidence in the world to be the second slowest one in the lobby so far through lap 1. At the end of the lap, though, I did catch up to the back of the pack, so we've got some prime overtaking opportunities ahead of us, and I'll get 2 free positions as this guy joins the track at 2 miles per hour and perfectly lines up a collision with the guy on the right side. The poor guy on the right side who didn't deserve it at all, but those are the cards the Forza gods dealt them. RIP, we're up into 17th. And we'll continue on another pretty large pack of folks up here at the hairpin. More overtaking opportunities. We've got a fella in a red Volkswagen, a very nice choice, I must say. A very beautiful color. Much better than all of the gray ones that everyone else is driving. I'll send it up the inside, down into second gear, and coming out of the arena section, I'll get a better run than a couple of the gray guys up front. And 15th place is going to be a victim of another inside move. If I can win the drag race to the right-hander, I can. So that's another move done up into 15th. A couple of guys up front having a little altercation, so I'll get 14th as well. Pulling up alongside the car in front. I'm not quite going to have the opportunity to go for the move there, but we do have the straight coming up. So if I can hang close and stay in that draft, then I might have the opportunity to get more than one position here. So onto the straight, the kind soul up front in 12th, offering me some slipstream. That's going to get me by 14th up into 13th. I'm not gaining on 12th as much as I want to. 13th or 14th, still very close behind. Into the chicane, toe-to-toe with Kute into the chicane. Not giving an inch. Both of us really letting the balls hang loose there. Not giving anything. Kute moving over to the inside there and then sending up a savage move up into 11th place. I can't imagine 12th. Was too happy about that one, but he made the move work. I'm in a little bit of an awkward situation right now where I'm out of the slipstream. I've got a guy on my left side preventing me from getting into it, but that indicator arrow slowly moving farther and farther back, and taking a look to the left, I can finally move over and get a little bit of that draft as we break into the hairpin. The guy behind sending it up the inside, almost causing a massive collision between the three of them. Everyone lives to fight another day, and we are again locked in a battle with Kute 15. I've got the inside for the left-hander though. He's hanging around the outside, but down into second gear, I'll have the position. That's going to be 12th place. Once again, coming out of the arena, having gained one. But I'm surprised that my pace is halfway decent on the wheel. I didn't expect to be making comebacks or even winning races like we did at Grand Oak, so I am pretty surprised. I do prefer the controller. It just feels better on Forza. The wheel's never really been optimized for the game. We were hoping for it, but the controller is definitely still the fastest way around the track. It's just too much fun in these D-Class and E-Class and even C-Class races as well to not hop on the wheel every once in a while and just give it a go, throw some cars through some corners. It is a ton of fun. Now we'll once again make full use of that slipstream coming down the straight and hopefully will be close enough to go for a move into the chicane once again. He's kind of staying medium defensive there. I'm going to move to the left. He leaves the space, and into the chicane, I'm just not going to have the confidence that I needed to on the brakes to complete the move. So he'll show the bravery to defend the position, and we'll have another crack at it down the final straight. He goes a bit deep. I'll take a nice line, and we're not even going to need the slipstream this time around. Getting a better run out of the corner, and we're already up into 9th place. He'll try to cut across, I assume to get into the slipstream as early as possible, but ends up making contact. So I'm thinking, you know what? He just hit me. I don't think he'll go for the move. I'll go a little defensive, and then all of a sudden, he swerves all the way to the right side, catches me completely off guard, and up he goes. The cutback presents itself, and now I'm stuck around the outside. He is behind, though. That indicator's still glowing yellow. It looks like I am firmly ahead. Having a look to the left, it turns out I am into the left-hander, down into 2nd gear, and we are ahead. Until I get another unexpected dive bomb up the inside. He goes spinning out behind and then gets completely murdered by another guy. So my most sincere apologies for my role in his death. I really look forward to the comments on that one. But we'll end up finishing this one in 8th place. One other guy got disqualified, so I ended up jumping one more spot. And yeah, we'll finish in 8th place, having gained 11 after a pretty rough first lap. And that'll do it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, do all the stuff that YouTubers tell you to do at the ends of videos, and I will talk to you guys soon. Alrighty, bye everybody.